Industrial fan system in a lab. Many devices contain tiny computers that can be hacked and used to gain sensitive business data or even cause damage to networks. Cybersecurity pros say more needs to be done to keep these devices secure, and it's getting the attention of manufacturers now. Andrea Day has a CNBC investigation hiding in plain sight.
No demo is complete until we've tried to physically destroy the device.
When you interview this CEO, you may wind up evacuating.
All right, let's get out of here. All right,
let's get out of here. Ong Sui founded the cybersecurity firm Red Balloon here in New York City.
This is where the magic happens.
This is where the magic happens.
And here, the goal is to make embedded devices more secure. And that means breaking in, taking them apart, and exposing flaws.
Yes! 100% of these devices can be compromised in some way.
100%.
100%.
Embedded devices are like mini computers. Inside almost everything you can power up. From smart home devices to medical gear and cars. At every financial exchange, power plant, air traffic control, and almost every company in the world.
This is probably the most important cybersecurity threat that we have today because these computers control every single aspect of our critical infrastructure that we depend on every single day.
And according to a report by market research firm Radian Insights, the global embedded system market is projected to be worth $214 billion by next year. We got a rare glimpse inside Red Balloon as they compromised an office phone, computer monitor, and more.
How close do you have to be to that device to pull off this kind of attack?
You can do this remotely from anywhere on the planet.
This is a small version of an air filtration system. It's in a lab the team's working with right now that houses dangerous viruses.
You don't want the dirty air to come out ever, and this computer will allow that to happen.
They hack devices inside the fan's controller, not only forcing the dirty air in the wrong direction, but ultimately shutting it down
into a useless piece of plastic and metal.
And it goes up in smoke.
That's awesome.
You might not think a desktop monitor can be compromised.
In reality, there's at least 3 different computers inside the monitor itself that we can hack.
Here, the team takes over the screen, changing the pixels and making a green light turn red.
The operator who's looking at this would think that there's something wrong.
This is a typical office or IP phone that places calls over a network, like the internet. But now it's listening in to our conversation.
There's a lag, but the hacker is hearing everything that we're saying now and all of the things that we said before.
The brands used here are just examples, but Sui says the issue goes way beyond these demos. The team recently uncovered a major vulnerability in more than 100 devices made by Cisco, the largest manufacturer of network equipment. According to Red Balloon, we're talking about a potential attack that could sell for millions. They let Cisco know what they had found, and the company published this critical advisory. Cisco turned down a request for an on-camera interview, instead releasing a statement saying in part, Cisco is committed to transparency and is not aware of any malicious use of the vulnerability that is described in this advisory. Fixes are available for approximately half of the affected products. We asked Cisco if a tool exists right now to know if a device has been hacked, the company telling us in part, an audit tool is not currently available. We recommend customers review the security advisory to assess the best way to protect their network. And as for the phone demo, Cisco tells us in part that workarounds and a software patch were made available. But Sui says it's more than just this model or this brand.
We've found a vulnerability inside every single IP phone that we've ever opened. That's 100%.
We wanted to find out what other industry leaders are doing to protect their embedded devices and reached out to HP and Huawei. Both companies were not part of Red Balloon's findings. HP is the largest manufacturer of printers, which contain embedded devices. Andy Rhodes is the global head of HP's commercial PC business.
How does HP work to find vulnerabilities?
HP, at the heart, we design with security in mind.
But Rhodes admits printers are a point of attack.
When you look at all of the printers in the world, not just HP, how many are not patched?
We estimate that about 65 to 80% of all printers in the world aren't patched today, which is a huge amount.
First, I got control of their printers. Then, I got control of their network. Then, I got control of their data.
HP's advertising claims to have the world's most secure printer.
We put this sort of special code into the printer so that it's always looking for malware and devices.
Huawei did not agree to an interview or provide comment. Red Balloon's advice? Complain to all of the makers of these devices.
If we raise this concern over and over again, we will influence the makers of these things to make more secure product.
And Andrea Day joins me now. So you're telling me that, I mean, we saw what happened with that fan on somebody's desk. They made it go the other way and then just went up in smoke.
Which is really scary if you think about it.
Who do you even complain to? What do you tell maintenance? You can't. I mean, I don't even know where you'd begin to say to make sure you're protected against all of this.
If you even know it's happening, let's say that's happening in a plant, right, where they're trying to keep all of that air inside and nobody's there. Ugh. What happens if that goes up in smoke in the middle of the night? Right. I mean, obviously a very dangerous situation. And I think the bottom line here with this entire thing is you have to take action to protect your privacy, to protect all of these things, these embedded devices.
It just seems so like you're fighting a losing battle all the time. And especially if you tell me something I'm looking at on a screen, I can't imagine if I worked at a utility company or a power company and my screen could change an important indicator light from green to red and then back. And I'm telling my boss, hey, it was one thing and I flipped a switch and they say, no, it's not. I never saw it change. It's frightening. It's frightening. And I said the same thing to Red Balloon and they said, well, you know what? Everyone has to start calling up some of these companies who make embedded devices and say, how are you protecting this device? How are you making it secure? Because right now, based on what they're saying, they're able to hack into 100% of these devices. And they're all over the place. Yeah. No, and I'm afraid to ask what's in the box here that you've brought. Okay, so Red Balloon has a very cool way of hiring people. I've never seen anything like this, and you're actually the first ones to see this on your show. They're letting you see it, so open it up. So this is a box I get if I'm trying to get a job. If you're trying to get a job there, they send you this box. Great. It's going to spill a little bit. Very low tech so far. Very low tech so far. So inside, you'll notice some instructions with a lot of things redacted. They say that's just for fun. And you'll see lots of candy. Yes. They're very into candy and nerds. So if you go through there, there's also just different cords and something to hack. Hard drive. Looks like a hard drive. In their embedded devices. So you have 7 days. It's like a James Bond film. You have 7 days to hack that device. Wow. Eat the candy if you want, hack the device, and then show up to work. Because when you hack the device, you will get the GPS coordinates for Red Balloon. If you do it successfully. If you do it successfully. 1% of the people they send it to do it successfully. Wow. And that's how they say. These guys have to be pretty darn good. It's so much fun to go there and watch them build all these things and then hack into them. And so important. I'll work on this during the commercial break, Andrea. I'm sure. See how far I can get. Thank you so much. Really important stuff, Andrea Day. Up next, a look at one group of stocks climbing more than 29% so far this year, handily beating the S&P, whether there's more room to run.